I'm Samantha. I'm 25, and this is my story. In July of 2024, I came to Venice and fell in love. I thought I had found a love as magical as the city itself, the kind that fills the narrowest alleys with impossible light. But by the time the winter aqua alta submerged the piazzas, I was left with a heart as shattered as Murano glass. I'm ready to share what happened, not because it's easy, but because maybe in this city of masks, you've felt this kind of unmasking too. Let's go back to where it all began. It was a sweltering July afternoon when I met Ethan. I was trying to navigate the labyrinthine colei near the Rialto market, hopelessly lost and dripping gelato on my map. I bumped right into him, sending my pistachio cone splattering onto the ancient cobblestones. I was mortified, but then I heard this rich, warm laugh that echoed off the stone walls. There he was, Ethan. He had kind hazel eyes and a smile that made me forget the sticky mess. He handed me a handkerchief, teasing me about my gelato tragedy. We ended up at a tiny Baccaro, a Venetian wine bar, where he introduced me to the magic of a spritz and sicchetti. You owe me a gelato for this, he said, his grin infectious. I laughed, only if you can navigate me back to the Zader promenade without getting lost. We exchanged numbers, and as I walked away, the city felt like it was singing. The next few weeks were a sun-drenched dream. We took a vaporetto to Murano and got lost in its kaleidoscope of colorful houses. We'd have late-night picnics on the steps of a quiet campo, sharing a bottle of Prosecco and our dreams under the stars. He'd send me photos of the sunrise over the lagoon with the caption, "Thinking of you." I felt seen, cherished, like I was finally part of the city's breathtaking beauty. One evening, as we watched the sunset from the Accademia Bridge, he gave me a delicate, hand-blown glass heart necklace from Murano. "This is yours," he whispered, his voice soft against the lapping water. Like my heart, I felt my own heart swell. I wore that necklace every single day, a tangible symbol of a love I believed was as real and enduring as Venice itself. I thought, this is it, Samantha, this is love. I was so devastatingly wrong. As the summer tourists began to fade, so did Ethan's warmth. He became distant, canceling our evening strolls for work dinners. His texts grew shorter, his calls infrequent. "Is everything okay? You seem so far away," I'd ask, my voice small. "Just busy, Sam. Don't worry," he'd reply, his tone flat. But my intuition, that quiet gondolier in the back of my mind, was screaming that we were heading into troubled waters. I ignored it. I wanted to believe in our Venetian fairy tale. Then came the night the cracks began to show. My best friend, Sarah, was visiting and out exploring the Baccari in the Canario district. She sent me a blurry photo. "Isn't this Ethan?" The photo showed him at a crowded bar, leaning in close to another woman, her laughter illuminated by the warm glow of the lights in a way he hadn't laughed with me in weeks. My heart plummeted. I confronted him, my hands trembling as I showed him the photo. "Who is she, Ethan?" He looked me straight in the eye, his gaze unwavering. "That's just Claire, a colleague. We were out with a group. You're imagining things." His voice was so calm, so reassuring, that I chose to believe him. I desperately wanted to. A week later, the truth washed over me like a cold wave of the Aqua Alta. He had left his phone on our table while he took a call outside. A message from Claire lit up the screen. A string of heart emojis. "My Mimanchi. I miss you. Last night was incredible." My stomach coiled into a tight, painful knot. I stood there, frozen, the sounds of the bustling campo fading into a dull roar in my ears. I didn't say a word. I was a coward, terrified that speaking the truth would shatter the beautiful glass illusion I was living in. The little Murano heart around my neck suddenly felt like a stone. By November, the pretense was a mask I could no longer wear. Ethan's late nights at work became more frequent. One rainy evening, I did something I never thought I'd be capable of. I followed him. I watched from the shadows of a bridge as he walked not into an office, but into a candlelit restaurant. And there she was, Claire, waiting for him. I saw him take her hand, his smile intimate and real. It was a dagger to my heart. I stumbled home through the rain, each drop a tiny betrayal against my skin. The next day, I went to his apartment, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. He was out, his laptop was open on the kitchen table, and there it was, a folder of photos. Him and Claire, kissing on the island of San Giorgio Maggiore, the stunning basilica in the background, dated weeks ago. My world, once a vibrant Venetian masterpiece, faded to black and white. When he returned, I confronted him, the photo glowing on the screen between us. My voice was a broken whisper. "How long, Ethan? How long have you been lying to me?" He tried to deflect, to spin another lie. "It's not what it looks like, Sam," but the mask had slipped, and I wouldn't let him put it back on. Finally, he confessed. He had been seeing Claire for 2 months. 2 months of stolen moments while I wore his glass heart, believing in his every word. And then he twisted the knife. "You were too much, Sam, too needy. I needed my space." The blame, so casually thrown, felt like a physical blow. In a single swift motion, I tore the Murano glass necklace from my neck. It shattered on the floor, the sound echoing the breaking of my own heart. I walked out without a word, leaving the pieces of our love scattered on the cold tile floor. I didn't look back, but inside I was crumbling into a million pieces. December descended on Venice with a cold, damp fog that mirrored the one in my soul. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I'd just stare out at the gray canal, watching the gondolas drift by like lonely ghosts. I replayed every moment, every lie, wondering what I had done to deserve this. I had given him my trust, my heart, and he had discarded it like a cheap carnival mask. I felt myself fading, disappearing into the city's ancient melancholic beauty. But my friend Sarah refused to let me vanish. She flew back to Venice, armed with strong Italian coffee and even stronger words. "You are stronger than the city's foundations, Sam," she told me, her voice firm. We sat together on my floor and burned every postcard, every note he'd ever written. Watching his pretty words turn to ash felt like a release, a tiny spark of warmth in the cold emptiness. It wasn't healing, not yet, but it was a beginning. One night I finally opened my journal. The first words I wrote in weeks were, "My heart is broken, but it is still mine. I will rebuild it, stronger than before, one stone at a time." For the first time I felt a flicker of belief. I wasn't okay, but I knew I would be. I was finding my way back to myself, one step at a time on the winding Venetian streets. That's my story. In 2024, I fell in love in Venice, and I fell apart. Ethan's lies broke me, but in the quiet, reflective beauty of a Venetian winter, I found a strength I never knew I possessed. Love can be as deceptive as the reflections in the canals, but it cannot destroy you. Not unless you let it. I'm still healing, still learning to navigate my own heart, but I'm here, and I'm moving forward. If you've ever had your heart broken, know that you are not alone. Thank you for listening, for letting me share this piece of my heart with you. Ciao.